Boston, a historic city, prosperous and at peace, until this event rocked America in April.
Something just blew up!
3 died, hundreds were injured, in the worst terror attack on American civilians since 9/11.
I didn't see my leg, fortunately. My initial thought was I was going to die right there.
These are the 2 brothers believed to have laid the bombs. Tamerlan, a 26-year-old boxer.
Feeling great, Mom.
And Dzhokhar, soon to stand trial, a 19-year-old who loved hip-hop.
No, give me a kiss. Atta girl.
Tracked down in an epic manhunt.
I'm very lucky I wasn't here when that bullet came through.
We spent months talking to some of their closest friends.
I felt like a bomb blew up in my chest.
So, were they fanatical jihadists or just angry young men?
I never really knew about him praying much at all.
As authorities try to stop the next attack, how far is America prepared to go?
This is going to pull up every frame where someone is wearing a red shirt.
Some moderate Muslims say spying's gone too far.
If you think that there is 1 or 2 things slipping through the cracks now, it's going to be 10 times as worse if that's how they want to deal with it.
It was April 15th, a sparkling spring day in Boston. Thousands lined the streets to witness the city's cherished ritual, the marathon.
My son was running a marathon. I've run 12.
Peter Payek is a wrestling coach and a Boston Marathon enthusiast.
I was going to meet him at mile 22, and then I was going to bike from there down to the finish line. And I wanted to stand at that finish line and take his pictures.
It was a beautiful day. It was a little chilly, but it was gorgeous out.
Roseanne Sedoya has come to the marathon since she was a child.
Started out like any other marathon Monday, and basically I went to the finish line to see friends run.
At 2:37 in the afternoon, security cameras showed 2 men, ethnic Chechens, turning onto the city's main street, each carrying a backpack. Tamerlan Tsarnaev, the older brother, moved towards the marathon finish line. Dzhokhar is easily identifiable in his white baseball cap. This is believed to be his backpack. Just a few feet from Dzhokhar stood Roseanne.
I turned to my right to run, and I basically ran pretty much into the second bomb.
Something just blew up!
I really recall it popping at my feet and thinking in my head at that point, this is not a good situation. This is bad.
It was a scene of blood and mayhem. Body parts lay on the streets. The screams of the injured were drowned by sirens and panic.
It was chaos. Everybody around me, their hair had been singed and it was sticking straight up, and they were kind of walking around like a zombie. I didn't see my leg, fortunately, but I saw blood coming from it and coming pretty quickly. So my initial thought was I was going to die right there.
Dzhokhar was seen on camera here, leaving the scene without his backpack. Just before the blasts, Peter Payek's son got a sudden cramp. It saved him and his dad.
I was a block and a half, I mean, really close, when the bombs went off.
So you were both incredibly lucky.
We were incredibly lucky.
Peter coached Dzhokhar, seen here wrestling in the black. Peter said he loved him like a son, and that Dzhokhar knew he was a regular at the marathon.
So how do you cope with the fact that You could have been killed, your son could have been killed, and the bomb was set off by someone who you were very close to.
I felt like a bomb blew up in my chest. It was inconceivable to me. It was just confusion, bewilderment, pain, and then knowing that you taught him as a wrestler, and you liked him, and he was a good kid, and he was in my house, in my backyard.
In the hours after the bombs, America held its breath, wondering who had done this. Was this a domestic terror act? Was it Al-Qaeda? Police trawled the site. They found fragments of simple homemade bombs built with pressure cookers. Dzhokhar returned to the leafy calm of his college and melted back into his life for 3 full days. He sent out a tweet.
I'm a stress-free kind of guy.
The FBI just released photos of 2 suspects.
They are now the world's most wanted men.
Suddenly, these images, taken by security cameras, were released to the media, and one of the biggest manhunts in American history began. The brothers went on the run. They killed a security guard, Sean Collier, to try to get his gun, then hijacked a car. Near a gas station, Tamerlan boasted to its driver that he was the bomber. 2 hours later, police confronted them west of Boston.
Tamerlan stepped out of the car with his hands up and started firing at the windshield of the cruiser.
A resident took these pictures. The brothers can be seen here lighting the fuse of a bomb. One of several they lobbed at the police amidst a massive gunfight.
That was my tree of life there. This was where I was standing most of the time with my gun trained on him. I'm very lucky I wasn't here when that bullet came through.
Another officer got to 8 feet from Tamerlan. Both fired straight at each other. Tamerlan ran out of bullets, threw his gun at the officer, and charged at him.
He tackles Tamerlan in the middle of the road, gets on top of him and starts cuffing him. I attempting to cuff him, and I stood over him and I said, "Sarge, bombs, he's gonna blow up, let's get off him, let's get off him." He had been shot 8 times. We knew he wasn't going anywhere.
Dzhokhar got back into the car. He drove at high speed straight at them.
I see the Mercedes coming straight at us. He grabbed the suspect by the belt to try to pull him out of the way of the vehicle, and was unsuccessful. He ran out over the suspect.
So Dzhokhar ran over his brother?
Right, ran over him.
Tamerlan died shortly after, run over by his own brother. Dzhokhar ran away on foot in the dark.
There is a manhunt underway in the greater Boston area right now for the man identified as...
Boston woke up to the news across the networks that the surviving bomber was in their midst.
We're asking people to stay indoors with their doors locked.
The entire city was closed down. Just a mile away, hunkered in their house, the Hennenburys were watching the drama on TV. David, a retired telephone worker, noticed that the cover of his boat had come loose.
I looked in the boat, and there's a whole bunch of blood on the floor of the boat. What the heck is this? And then all of a sudden I looked on the other side, you know, just a short distance away. And there was somebody lying on the boat.
Here they come. Holy.
Police helicopters scanned the boat with infrared cameras. A human form showed up clearly. Afraid Dzhokhar had more bombs, they threw stun grenades to flush him out. They'd also riddled the boat with bullets and tried to negotiate. Finally, with SWAT teams moving in on the boat, Dzhokhar emerged, weak and bloodied. Seriously injured, but amazingly alive. Alone in the boat for hours, he scrawled on its walls.
The U.S. government is killing our innocent civilians. We Muslims are one body. You hurt one, you hurt us all. America.
But who were these men, and what turned them against America? The Tsarnaev brothers were ethnic Chechens from a part of Russia torn by a violent Islamic insurgency. Their early years were spent moving around the troubled region. Did the roots of their radicalization lie here or in America? For the last decade, they've lived here in Cambridge, near Boston. We've spent months talking to some of their closest friends. To Tamerlan, the eldest, America was both strange and wonderful when he arrived age 16.
One time he told me, it's like one of those machines where you control the claw. He was taken, removed, and dropped into America. But he loves it here.
That's what he said.
He said, I love it here, it's cool. I can do everything. I can box, I can ride the bus. You know, everything is within reach.
Tamerlan took to boxing and came into his own, self-assured and powerful. He became New England's top heavyweight boxer. He dreamed of the Olympics with a cocky certainty.
Feeling great, man.
How'd you do last time?
I win.
You win?
I win in England, I win the Golden Gloves, and this is again, same thing.
Tamerlan, Tam to his friends, was flamboyant. He had a penchant for leather trousers, snakeskins, and white furs. It was his fashion taste he stood out for, not any devotion to Islam. But 3 years ago, Tamerlan abandoned his boxing career, barred from contesting at a national level because he didn't have American citizenship.
Tamerlan wanted to stand up on that podium, put the flag over his shoulder, and say, I won the boxing, I represent America, it's the greatest country in the world. And so all of a sudden, instead, he doesn't get citizenship, and now it's like America's the evil empire. We had to destroy it.
His dreams crushed, Tamerlan began to change. His old friends, like Lewis, no longer saw him.
Literally, he vanished. He even erased his Facebook page too, disconnected himself socially.
Tamerlan lived crammed into a Cambridge flat with his brother and parents. It was at that time we've learned that he developed a passion for Islam and began reading about anti-Semitism. He married an American woman, Catherine. She changed her name to Karima and converted to Islam. Her lawyer said the bombings absolutely shocked her. The brothers' friends wouldn't all speak openly, afraid of being associated with terrorism. This man, we'll call him Mike, spent a lot of time in their flat.
He just didn't like America. He felt like America was basically attacking all Middle Eastern countries, trying to take their oil and change up religion and stuff, like their democracy.
Give me a kiss. No, give me a kiss. Atta girl.
Dzhokhar, the younger brother, who often babysat his niece, had been in Boston since he was 8. He seemed a regular American teenager. He liked hip-hop and nurtured the laid-back look. His recent cover shot on Rolling Stone magazine caused a storm. He seemed too alluring, the chilled-out bomber.
What kind of things did Dzhokhar worry about?
You know, money, girls.
So, did he pray a lot?
Nah. I never really knew about him praying much at all.
Never saw him praying?
No, I never saw him praying.
Dzhokhar rarely talked to his friends.
Two things slipping through the cracks now. It's going to be 10 times as worse if that's how they want to deal with it.
It was April 15th, a sparkling spring day in Boston. Thousands lined the streets to witness the city's brothers believed to have laid the bombs. Tamerlan, a 26-year-old boxer.
Feeling great, man.
And Dzhokhar, soon to stand trial, a 19-year-old who loved hip-hop.
No, give me a kiss. Bad girl.
Tracked down in an epic manhunt.
I'm very lucky I wasn't here when that bullet came through.
We spent months talking to some of their closest friends.
I felt like a bomb blew up.
Boston, a historic city, prosperous and at peace, until this event rocked America in April.
Something just blew up!
3 died, hundreds were injured, in the worst terror attack on American civilians since 9/11.
I didn't see my leg, fortunately. My initial thought was I was going to die right there.
These are the two terrorist ritual, the marathon.
My son was running a marathon. I've run 12.
Peter Payek is a wrestling coach and a Boston Marathon enthusiast.
I was going to meet him at mile 22, and then I was going to bike from there down to the finish line. And I wanted to stand at that finish line and take his pictures.
It was a beautiful day. It
in my chest.
So, were they fanatical jihadists or just angry young men?
I never really knew about him praying much at all.
As authorities try to stop the next attack, how far is America prepared to go?
This is going to pull up every frame where someone is wearing a red shirt.
Some moderate Muslims say spying's gone too far.
If you think that there is one